Hello and welcome back, YouTube. Just rolling out of Hertz. That is such a scary sounding gate. Just have to share this with y'all. Not like it's a really big deal, but that scooter that I rode back here after my break like a week ago, still sitting here, still available for rent. I'm absolutely bewildered that Lime hasn't come here and decided to move this someplace more functional. And check this out. It shows a full battery, which makes me think maybe, now I'm not sure how full the battery was when I drove it last, but it has me thinking maybe, just maybe, Lime went and put a battery in it, because those things have swappable batteries now. The Lime came in there, put in a battery, and they're leaving it there, thinking, hey, somebody that works here uses Lime. They're just going to leave it here until they want to ride in it again. And the reality is, somebody that works here does use Lime, and that would be me. So, yeah, you know, if it stays there, eventually, I don't know how long it'll be, but eventually I might want to ride the thing home. So, man, I got to get new sun visors. These things are so dilapidated. So about 6-7 weeks ago, as an experiment, I started wrapping my phone with a HelloFresh rubber work glove to try to improve the sound. And I only continued. Are we done beeping yet? And I only continued that for a couple of days before I decided it was just too much of a pain in the asses and it wasn't worth it. And then it was like nearly 5 weeks later that I finally got around to listening to those videos and editing those videos and posting those videos, and it was like, oh, that was totally worth it. It made my sound much better. It eliminated a lot of the road noise of the phone being in the windshield mount. That was probably over a week ago that I realized that, and this is the first time it occurred to me that, hey, maybe I should put the glove back in it. So, yeah, iPhone 7 Plus in the holder, and glove wrapped around it. Totally burned out Pat Benatar track. I think I can live without that. Oh, part of me just wants to go home, but I don't feel like just going home. It's a holiday weekend. We should be out having fun. Shouldn't we? Did I say the time and the date? I might have. Checking the time and the date on my iPhone 6s Plus. Sunday, September 3rd, 10:45 p.m. I got my car. I overslept work big time, so plus it's a holiday schedule right now. Sunday holiday schedule. It's gonna be Sunday holiday schedule plus tomorrow. So yeah, not even trying to deal with that. And I don't think I want to ride a scooter until I heal from that last scooter injury. So yeah, I drove to work. But the bonus is I got my car, so I'm not obligated to go directly home. Not that I'm ever obligated to go directly home, just generally speaking, if I don't go directly home, I'm without transportation. And yeah, don't feel like walking around Phoenix. It's a little bit spread out for that sort of thing. I think tonight, part of me wants to go to Hideaway and see what the karaoke scene's like there, because I had a really good time there last Sunday. But no, I think I want to go to the little place that I can never remember the name of over in Glendale on 43rd Avenue. I think that'll be a little more fun. Maybe. I mean, I never know what kind of crowd is going to be there, and I don't feel like I've really got to know anybody over there that's a regular over there. Now, I have encountered some old Bullocks regulars over there, but I haven't even been seeing them when I go there lately. But I always enjoy the karaoke over there. So I ended up not staying until midnight at work like I was hoping to. I kind of fucked myself on that. The guy that was kind of the acting supervisor tonight, and I can't think of his name. It's not Anthony, but the other black guy that's an up-down lead at night. I got a ride from him to pick up the last maintenance car that I brought down, which was some kind of Jaguar luxury SUV. Let's call it a K-Pace or a J-Pace, something like that. Not to be confused with an I-Pace. Those are the electric ones that Waymo uses. Yeah, honestly, I wasn't too impressed with it. I found the climate controls too convoluted to the point they were awkward to use. Like, I tried to get it, like the setting that I generally like to get with my climate controls is I like to bring the thermostat as low as I can, or to maximum cooling, but I want the fan at a low setting, and I want it kind of blowing away from me. As I've mentioned many, many times, blowing air on me is just something that messes with my sensory issues really badly. And as a result, like Priscilla and I, when we end up going, when we were together over at the Wander Inn, like she sat down next to me and she kept coming up with reasons why she didn't want to sit next to me. A couple of times it's like, well, by that speaker, it's too loud. And the one time it's like, she said, oh, it's too hot over here. Yeah, you're entering menopause. You're going to get hot flashes no matter where you go, so it doesn't make a difference. Some people fall for the illusion that if air is blowing on them, it's somehow cooler. But it's not. It's just the same temperature air. But you're being assaulted with it. I don't understand why so many people enjoy that. Can't fucking stand it. So yeah, she always ends up sitting over at the table with the ceiling fans just blasting. I can't sit there. I can't handle being assaulted by air like that. I end up sitting at the other table. I don't know how she thinks that I should marry her. We can't even sit at the same table at our neighborhood bar. So yeah, climate controls in the rental cars, I don't want it blowing at me. In fact, I hate when I start a car and it just immediately starts blowing air at me at a high rate. Like, that's just, I feel like I'm being assaulted by the car. And it's amazing how difficult it can be to stop that in some cars. Now, to be fair, when I got in the Jag, it didn't immediately start blowing on me like that. And then I saw that there were two knobs that appeared to be thermostat controls. And when I put them at the lowest setting, it just automatically raised the fan speed way up. Yeah, I wasn't trying to raise the fan speed. I didn't turn any knob that indicated it had anything to do with fan speed. So I was kind of irritated when that happened. And I'm not entirely sure what I managed to do to get it to stop blowing on me, which of course is just intolerably aggravating to me. It seems like I don't know, I think I just raised the temperature back up or something. I mean, obviously I'm not driving the thing far enough that it's going to get cool in there. But yeah, that was kind of frustrating. I like clear, I like simple, clean, easy to understand climate controls. The more convoluted they get, the more annoying I find it. And yeah, that Jag had really convoluted controls. The radio, I had no problem getting music out of it pretty quick. I don't know, I tapped somewhere on its touchscreen, and I don't remember exactly how I did it, but I know I got to XM pretty quickly. When I got to XM, it came on channel 11, which is called 10 Spot. Or did it come up on Hits 1? I forget. And I don't remember what song it played. All I know is it played immediately to an XM station that was playing a song that I really liked. So that was all good. The thing drove great. No complaints on how it drove. track talking about driving the Jag. It wasn't so eventful. I mean, the most memorable thing was just how frustrating the climate controls were to try to use, and it, battling it, wanting to blow hot air. It wasn't particularly hot, but just blow air directly in my face. But right before that, I asked if there were 2 maintenance cars there, and there was an uptown driver driving in the van. I rode in the van because there were 2 cars there, so I was mostly bringing electric cars up, but it got to the point there were no electric cars left to bring up, so I'm bringing up gas cars, putting them in the flip lane. And for the second time, I walked up to this one that was missing its key. They got 2 of them, like right next to each other, missing their keys, the wipers flipped up. I don't understand how they lose the keys to those things. I just don't get it. Like, you drove it from the car wash, presumably, whoever that the hypothetical car washer. And I think those guys all work for Hertz. And very few of them really speak English. But yeah, one of them, or maybe 2 of them, because there were 2 cars, washed it, drove it from the car wash. I mean, the key was obviously in it, or they couldn't have got it there to where the line is, where it goes up into the car rental center from, to be either put in the flip lane or put into a stall to be rented. Yeah, they managed to lose 2. And it had been lost long enough that somebody had flipped up the wipers and wrote no key on the window with whatever the hell the writing utensils are that they use to write on the windows. I really don't know what those writing utensils are. I don't have one. I've been told by a couple of people that I should ask for one at this point. That I'm knowledgeable about what's going on, that it would be useful for me to have one. So yeah, I walk up to this one vehicle that's missing its key for the second time, and at that point I realized that, oh shit, there goes the van, the shuttle van that what's left of the up-down crew is working in. So I'm like, hey, and I'm waving my arms, and they did stop for me, because sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just bail and I'm just standing there. I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm stuck, and I can't get upstairs. But he stopped, and I got in with this new driver, by the way. She's got a blue trainee vest on. I don't know her name, but oh my God, she is stunningly beautiful. Probably super young. We both walked out to our cars together. I'm forgetting what night it was. I want to say, I'm not sure if it was Friday night or if it was Wednesday night. She told me it was her second day then, so she's new. Anyway, I rode with her in the van a couple times. Not like we talked in the van or anything, but she, yeah, I almost opened the door and like sat in her lap like twice. Like the one time I opened the door and she was sitting in the seat in the van adjacent to the door, and I'm like, oh. So I get on the other side, she's going, oh, are you getting in here? Because she's not used to me riding in that van. And generally, like, that's my last resort for getting back upstairs. But yeah, no electric cars that need to go up, no gas cars that need to go up. I'm like, hey, can you roll me upstairs? Anyway, when I got in the second time, I asked the lead who was driving the van if he could spare a driver so we could get both of those down. He's like, oh, well, they're ending their shifts right now. I said, yeah, I usually in mine right now, but I was thinking about staying until midnight since I came in a couple hours late today. And he proceeded to tell me that, yeah, there was no need for me to do that. So I'm sure had he not told me not to do it, I would have been able to get away with it and would have got paid for it. But yeah, he told me I was done for the night. So I'm done for the night, and here I am, headed to a bar in Glendale to sing karaoke. Kind of talked myself out of extra hours when I could have just simply said nothing and gotten that Jag and drove it down and then got another ride up. But I'm sure I could have found more cars to move. I always find more cars to move. So
probably spent more time working on electric vehicles today than I did working on gas vehicles. I'm getting the workflow down on those, and I'm kind of creating my own sort of workflow and way of doing them as well, which I tend to do with everything. But yeah, I really enjoy driving them. I did pretty much figure out the key is at one point. Little Anthony did show up. He came in. I don't know if he came in at like 5 or like. I don't know if he came in at 5 or 6. He came in later, but he did sit down in the Kia Niro and show me how to operate its touchscreen and its menus and how to get to where all the charging information is, where I could see what the battery percentage was. But he seemed happy that I figured out exactly how to, that I did manage to determine that, even though I couldn't figure out what the battery percentage was, that I determined that it did indeed need charge, and that I got it on a charger and I had it charging. One thing he showed me on those screens that I would have never thought to do, and that's swiping. I don't know, that's just not something I think of to do on a touchscreen in a car. I just tap it. It never occurred to me to swipe it. But yeah, that's how you get to some of the stuff on that screen, is by swiping. Oh, and I also did finally figure it out how to adjust the volume on the stereo when the volume knob changes into a thermostat knob. It's on the steering wheel, and I don't know if there's any other way to do it. Now, I've driven cars where there's a volume for the stereo on the steering wheel. I don't think I've ever owned one that has that feature. So it's not something that I ever think to use. That guy kinda... He wasn't blocking the lane, he was definitely blocking the sidewalk. I generally never think of using the volume there. At this point, I figure at this point, because I was focusing so much on electric vehicles, that guy definitely driving with daytime running lights. There's no way those were headlights. That was too damn dim. Anyway, I'm getting used to it. That's also how you control the volume on the Tesla Model 3s, except it's instead of a up-down lever, it's a little rolling, spinning thing on the left side of the wheel, whereas on the Kia EVs, both the Niro and the EV6, it's a little lever on the right side. It really bothers me that there's no standardization of that kind of shit. I mean, I think back to the days of when I first started riding in cars, before I even was old enough to drive cars, and most every car that I rode around in had one form of entertainment in the dash, an AM radio. That guy is driving on the wrong side of the double yellow line. It amazes me how bad people drive out here. So yeah, they all operated the same. The knob on the left, if you turn it all the way to the left, it went click and it turned off the radio. You turned it to the right and that was your volume. Click, turn it on and turn up the volume. The knob on the right, it changed the station. To the left for lower frequencies, to the clockwise, to the right for higher frequencies. And then the buttons across the middle of it, those were presets. You push them in to go directly to a specific station. And if you wanted to set it, you pulled it out and then you pushed it back in. And it seemed like every single car radio and every single car worked that way. But now, oh my God, it's just so wildly, radically different from vehicle to vehicle, and everything's computerized. So I'm getting better at it. And the funny thing is, I tend to learn things by doing things and through muscle memory. And I find myself, I'm conditioning myself to just recognizing different environments and different cars. And certain types of cars that I drive a lot, I don't even think about it. Just my hands go to where the controls are and operate it. I've never driven one of those Jags, but I drove right at the end of my shift. So of course, yeah, when I got to that one, I had no idea what the hell to do with it. Now that I'm doing the EVs all the time, I'm getting to know everything with the different EVs we have. And I think we only have, I could be wrong on this, but I think at this point we have 6 different models. By far the majority of our electric vehicles are Tesla Model 3s. So many Tesla Model 3s. As I've said many times, not a fan. I'd say the second largest portion are Polestar 2. Absolutely love those things. I've seen at least 2 Polestar 1s, which is very similar to the Polestar 2, but it's a 2-door sedan. Since I've been doing the EVs, I haven't seen any. And I've yet to drive one. But I've seen them, so I know we have them. And then many, we have quite a few of the Kia EV6. Also the Kia Niro, which I think is what preceded the EV6. I'm not sure. I'm not completely sure. And I should maybe do a little research to learn about that. But Niro spelled N-I-R-O. And then we have the Chevy Volt. And I think we have 2 different variations of the Chevy Volt. We've got the little hatchback shitbox thing, and then I think we've got like a wagon type version of it. Speaking of wagon type version of it, that's one of the ones I lost the goddamn keys to. So I'm like extra irritated about that one, because that would have been something I hadn't driven yet. And I expect it's probably exactly the same as the other Chevy Volt as far as like how I charge it and how I open the charging port and how I work the screens and stuff. But I don't know, it's just a little bit different. I wanted to kind of check it out. So I'm going inside to sing some karaoke. I figured with it being a holiday weekend, it would be more busy here, but it looks kind of dead. But I'm just coming in to hang out and sing. Unfortunately, I won't be able to do any editing on any of my vlog. I don't think. I might be able to go out on the patio if I'm alone. But I haven't seen my earbuds since the day I punctured the tire, and that was last Thursday. I remember I was charging it with that weird triple end adapter charging cable when I was riding around in the shag with Keontae. But I don't know if I maybe dropped it in the shag. I don't know. Put it in the pocket or something and forgot. My name is Dan, and I lose shit. I may have finally lost them. I've come close to losing them several times, and I've had a couple times people have handed them back to me because they found them because I left them behind somewhere. And times where they've handed me back the earbuds, like the charging pack was in my pocket. So it's kind of miraculous that I've had them as long as I've had them, because I've had them at this point over 1.5 years. But if I did lose them, c'est la vie, I definitely got my $5 worth out of them.